What's up, guys? It's me, JellyKnees, and I want to give you guys a quick roundup, kind of a quick fire FTM here to catch up on the last couple weeks that we've missed before FTM comes back live this upcoming Sunday. So we're going to go through all three games, Ethereal, Paragon The Overprime, and Predecessor, and give you guys the quick and dirty information that you need to know, and I'll try and keep this as condensed as possible. But of course, we're going to start with Ethereal as it's up on screen. They do have an open test coming up. This will be coming on this Friday, the 15th of September, and going through Sunday, the 17th of September. So definitely keep an eye out for that. The other thing that they released is they released a developer update going through a bunch of the changes they've made between the tests. So they announced the open test, but they also talked about their move to Unreal Engine 5 and all the changes that came with that. They've added a fog of war system, which means that you're not going to be able to see things infinitely across the map. They will slowly appear as they get closer to you. They also removed some of the actives and the primary spells. So there's no longer a jungle active and a support active, and there's no longer the primary spells. It is just the familiar system, potions, and wards are the actives that are in the game now. The other big system that they added in is the addition of an auto buy system and an auto leveling system. This will help definitely get the kind of initial curve for Ethereal more accessible to more players, which means more people can enjoy the game because they have less things that they have to worry about. So this is a huge feature. Really glad it's in there. The other thing they did is they reworked one of their myths, and that's Talos. They completely redid his kit. I highly suggest you guys go see the changes that they made. I did get a chance to play him in the Patreon weekend that they had, or Patreon day that they had yesterday, and I think the Talos changes are a lot of fun. Then the final thing that they added are some post-game matchup statistics showing the items, the level, the builds, the whole nine yards for Ethereal, which they didn't have in previous tests. So those are definitely some welcome additions. And they also did release some Talos gameplay. So this is a full gameplay with the reworked version of Talos, which I think is fantastic. It goes into his kit a little bit more. You're able to see some of those changes and some of the differences that they made for him. But that's going to be it for Ethereal. Remember, their test this Friday through Sunday is going to be open to everyone. So I highly suggest you try the game if you haven't, and see, kind of give your feedback and thoughts either on FTM or in their Discord or even in the FTM Discord. And again, guys, everything's going to be linked down below. So let's move on to Paragon The Overprime. Paragon The Overprime has had a bunch of patches and a bunch of big changes that they've made to the game. So they did remove in their entire item active category. So there are no more active items, they're all passives. In addition, or in kind of compromise to that, they added a bunch of summoner spells, or they call them Kima, I believe, or not, Karma is what they're called. And the Karma have a bunch of different effects, and a lot of the actives have moved over to being their own version of Karma. So they also got rid of the starting items, and some of those actives moved to the Karma as well. So like Swift Charge is that dash starting item. They also have the Flash starting item somewhere on here. The support one is a ward, and then there's a bunch of others in here that are super cool. My favorite is that they have the morale boost, which boosts your minions' HP and movement speed. Super fun. And a lot of them are really strong and kind of busted. So hopefully they kind of get that figured out and are able to work on balancing these a little bit better going forward. They also released Grim into the game. Now, Grim is definitively a mid laner in Paragon The Overprime, and he's got basically an identical kit to what he had before, but we'll kind of briefly go through it. He's got his basic attack, which is normal. His shield, which is that if he blocks an ability, he recovers mana. Fantastic. His displacement Q, so when he launches the burst, it displaces people around that burst. A pretty normal, again, does a lot of damage. Has some really high scaling on there. His E is a enhanced basic attack that takes mana every time he attacks and slows the target that he hits. And then his ultimate is the meatball that flies down the lane. Super long range, super low cooldown. They actually had to nerf the cooldown because it was very low. But Grim, super great addition to Paragon The Overprime. Glad he's in the game. Super fun. The other thing they did is they added Richter to the game a couple weeks ago. And Richter is also very similar to his Paragon roots, but feels really good in Paragon The Overprime. Different than he feels in Predecessor and different than he felt in Fault, but to an extent that's what's to be expected. His normal basic attack, which is fine. His right click is the hook, so that's all normal. It is really fast. You really got to be on point with this hook. it feels really like almost instantaneous to an extent. His electroshock, which is his Q, so this is a basic attack modifier, so it's not like Predecessor where it just goes out and does the attack itself. It actually modifies the basic attack, but it's effectively the same idea. It applies a silence and a slow when it goes off. He's also got the Electro Storm, which is just his field around him that does damage, and then his ultimate. His ultimate does seem to be shorter in duration, but it fires quicker, so it is that give and take comparatively to Predecessor, Paragon, and Fault for that matter. The other thing they did is they released their summer skins in 2 different waves. So I kind of want to just give you guys an idea of what some of those summer skins are, because they're honestly incredible. They did a great job with these, especially going into their first summer of early access. So we have a Brilliant Sailor Seraph, got the Hunter of the Sea, which this is a Twin Blast Paragon skin. We've got a Brilliant Fairy Fae skin, which is a fantastic skin as well. Deep Sea Explorer Gideon, I love this skin. It's just incredibly done. And then the second set, they released a Sparrow skin, a Bellica skin, and then Murdoch, Shinbi, Mako, and those are the skins there. So they did give Mako, an original character, a summer skin, which is fantastic. You got the beach ball there. I love these skins. I think they're great. They're pretty decently priced. I believe most of them are $10, if I remember correctly, in Kima. And then I think there are a couple that are more expensive, but they're the more rare skins, Serath's being the one that comes to mind. All right, the other thing they added into the game, lots of big changes there, like I said, is they added hero passives to some of the characters, or some of the heroes. Not everybody has a passive yet. Right now it is currently just Rampage and Kalari, and they plan to they actually asked in their Discord if people wanted them all at once going forward, or if they want them gradually as they create the passives, kind of like they did with these 2. So I would love to hear your thoughts on which you'd prefer, either all at once or gradually over time. They did nerf both Rampage and Kalari to make up for their passives, and I do think that they are actually pretty balanced, all things considered, even though they have an extra ability than the other heroes in the roster. So Rampage's passive is that he recovers max health for every second that he's in the jungle, which is pretty standard what you'd see for Rampage. It makes sense. It's a decent passive for him. And then for Kalari, my girl, they added back her double jump, and I am so happy about that. It does give her some major traversal advantages, but they nerfed her damage pretty hard going into this patch, so it kind of balances out a little bit there. The other thing that they talked about is the next hero coming up, which will be Morigesh. So they've already teased that this is going to be probably the skin that she releases with, but Morigesh will be the next hero added to Paragon the Overprime, which means I believe they only have 3 Paragon heroes left. Maybe it's 4 after Morigesh, and then we'll start seeing original heroes every month after that instead. The final thing I want to touch on for Paragon the Overprime is actually something that I'm working on with the team over at Overpowered and Ego. And we're actually putting together an FTM and Overpowered tournament for Paragon the Overprime, which will have a $1,000 prize pool. Now, more information about this will come out in the next week or so, that we'll start getting that information out, but kind of wanted to put it on people's radars. We're going to have several teams in there. If you're interested in joining, let me know, send me a message on Discord, and I'll get you to the right people. But like I said, $1,000 prize pool for a Paragon the Overprime tournament. We're really, really excited about it, and more information will come out in the next week. Moving on to Predecessor. Predecessor did talk about their season 2 roadmap and kind of some additions that they're going to add to it. So on here we have the level 20 is Ascension Hero Recolor. The level 30 is an Ascension Hero Recolor. All right. And then what they did is they actually released what those recolors are going to be, and they added a third one to that list at level 40. So at level 20, we're going to see the Ascended Narbash skin go out to everybody. And this is kind of a design of what it looks like below. And then at level 30, we're going to see the Ascended Fae skin, which I love. I love the gold and white coloration. I think they did a great job on these. I'm sad that they're recolors, but I think they're good skins nevertheless. And then they added a level 40 skin, which the season 2 roadmap actually ended at level 35. So they're adding a level 40 reward, and it's going to be Sparrow. Presumably it's going to be that white and gold coloration that we saw with the previous 2, but we don't know what this skin is going to look like as of yet. The other thing Predecessor did while we were gone is they released Zarus, which is their original hero, their second original hero into Predecessor. Zarus is an offlaner. He's a gladiator. I think his theme is really good. I think he's designed really well. He's not a stereotypical humanoid. He is humanoid in terms of his stature, but he's got those features of the dragon lizard-esque features, which is fantastic. And let's talk about his kit a little bit here. Very briefly, we'll go through this, but on entering combat, he gains a stack of Gladiator while dealing damage with basic attacks or abilities, and each stack gives him physical power. And when he leaves, he gets some health back for every stack that he had. Fantastic. He's got a basic attack, which is normal. We would love to see that. His Q is very similar to Steel right click, but he holds out a Q in front of him. He reduces damage, especially actually Steel right click in Paragon back in the day. But he holds a shield in front of him, reduces damage that hits him from the front for that damage, and then he can recast it, or at the end of the duration, and anyone in front of him will get a brief stun. His E is just a dash in any direction that he's moving, which is great. His right click is he can either kind of jab his spear forward and do damage in a small area in front of him, or he can hold it and throw the spear a distance and do damage to every target. The benefit of doing just the jab is he gains half cooldown, which is great. And then Colosseum is Zarus's R, which is he creates a field around one person. He jumps in the air, slams down, and creates kind of a barrier around, think Decker Cage-esque. And they're trapped in there as long as the duration is, or until Zarus walks out. They are able to kind of duke it out 1v1 in there, and he also gets bonus physical power. Yeah, if he kills them, he gets bonus physical power, which is really great as well. So Zarus was a great addition. I actually really like playing Zarus in the offlane. I think they did a good job with him, and I'm excited to see where they go going forward. The other thing they did is they released the Predecessor report. Now this kind of is going over what they learned from Season 2's roadmap and what they're going to start doing more in Season 3 as they talk about that a little bit. So Season 2 is actually going to end on September 12th. And that's going to be this Tuesday. So when the patch goes out on Tuesday, Season 2 will officially end and Season 3 will officially begin. The big thing that they're doing for Season 3 is they kind of talked about it, and this is something that I've been saying, you guys know that I've been saying for a very long time, is that I want them to start to underpromise and I want them to overdeliver. So that's what they're planning to do with Season 3. And we'll talk about the roadmap in a second to showcase kind of where they're doing in that and how they're doing that. But I think when this came out, this is a great thing to know, that they understand they overpromised in Season 2. They didn't do everything that they said they were going to do, or even as much as they wanted to do. So now they're going into Season 3 that they want to underpromise and overdeliver, which I think is a fantastic thing. Console is coming in early, console's going into early access early in Season 3, which is fantastic. They also announced that Season 3 will be the Harness the Storm. Something about Storm is going to be the kind of premise, and that the new UI is coming as well. In addition to that, they announced that Sereth will be joining the game on September 12th. They released a video about her abilities. I highly suggest you guys go watch that as well. The abilities are mostly the same as they were in Paragon. There are two big changes that we kind of saw that really has the community talking about whether or not they're good or bad changes. I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments. But the biggest thing is that they released the Season 3 roadmap. Now the Season 3 roadmap is going to be longer. It's a longer season. We see that normally there's 4 heroes. In Season 3 we're going to get 5 heroes, so that's already something. We already know that Sereth is coming out when Season 3 drops, which is on September 12th. They go through the different level rewards. I won't go into each one, but they do talk about them being season themed, which I think is a cool thing to just say that it's going to be around the theme. The other thing is the planned features. The big 3 are Hero Affinity, which is Hero Mastery, the console launch for PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5, the new UI launch, and then a whole bunch of the smaller improvements as well. So that's going to be the roadmap for Season 3. We also know that the heroes, we've got a jungle character, we've got a marksman or a carry coming out, we've got a mid laner coming out, we've got an off laner coming out, and then we've got the meta original hero, which theoretically, considering we're filling 4 out of the 5 roles in the first 4 heroes, means that this is going to be a support, but we don't know that for certain. That's just speculation right now. The big thing that they talked about that they're changing in Season 3, however, and I think that this is a bad thing. I think the reason Season 3 has more patches, for one thing, but also it's going to take a lot more time, is they're changing their large content updates to every 6 weeks rather than every 4. This also means that balance patches will be pushed back a week at a time, which means it'll be every 3 weeks we'll get a balance patch instead of every 2 weeks. So realistically, right now the projected end for Season 3 is in February of 2024. That means that we'll cross the year mark for Predecessor, only having had 3 seasons. And this is to make sure that they can deliver on the things that they want to deliver on for season 3. I have really mixed feelings about this. On one hand, I think it's great that they're under promising and over delivering, right? That they're saying we want to take the time we need to take in order to make sure everything is right. But at the same time, development has already felt painfully slow, and now we're slowing it down even further. And the biggest change ups to the game have been hero releases, and now hero releases will come 2 weeks later every single time for the rest of the season, for all of season 3. So it's every 6 weeks will be when the heroes are releasing, which is a long time. And I worry about the health of the player base with updates like that only coming every 6 weeks. They did say that they will reassess after this end of the season, but I still think that when we're going for 7 months, or we're in September right now, we're going for at least 5 to 6 months with that slower cadence could be detrimental to the state of the game. I don't know for sure, but I hope it's not. I just worry that that's where we're going with it. The other thing is they talked about the end of season rewards, that hero affinity is coming. But the biggest thing is that the new update coming out on September 12th, which should be tomorrow as of when you're seeing this, is going to be the new UI. The new UI will be in the game. Now, this is not in-game heads-up display UI. This is more of the menu side before you get in the game. They didn't show any pictures of it in this, which I would love to see going forward. That you, Ometa, when you guys are putting out these posts and building up hype, show us what we're excited about. I know you showed us stuff 5 months ago, but if it's changed or updated or finished or anything like that, I think players would love to see it. But we're also going to see the hero affinity coming through as well. So can't wait to see those things, and really can't wait to experience all the changes that they're making in season 3, even if they're going to be slower. Now let's get into the patch notes. They released these on Friday. Again, Sereth being a big part of it. So we'll talk about the changes with Sereth and kind of what they did. So all the heroes in Predecessor have a passive. So Sereth's passive is that when she kills a hero, they will leave an echo behind that when she claims will activate her ultimate. And it's the same ultimate from Paragon in that she goes into heresy. Again here, so Sereth takes on a demonic form, dealing extra damage and setting them on fire for the next 7 seconds. She gains movement speed, attack speed, and empowers her basics, and the basics do that burn damage over time. So that's her passive. She leaves behind that echo when she kills somebody, and then can activate her ultimate for free, basically, even if she's only between levels 1 and 5. So if she doesn't have her ultimate unlocked, she still gets that ultimate activation effectively. Her left mouse button is just a basic attack, which is fine. Her Q, this is the thing that's kind of changed from Paragon. It's very similar, but it is different at the same time. So instead of staying in one place and she's hitting everything that's in an area that she targets with her Q, she's going to target a specific person, dash to them, and do 5 instances of damage, either to that person, or if they have enemies around them, she'll dash to various enemies for those 5 strikes. And at the end, she will teleport to that target's location. If you've played League of Legends, any of you, Master Yi is a very similar idea as to what her Sereth's Q is going to look like, and will make her a lot more active when she's doing things. Me personally, the thing I've hated most about Sereth in Paragon, and even Paragon The Overprime, is her Q. Her Q feels boring. It's not exciting to use. It feels very slow to use 90% of the time. And when they're making her a dedicated jungler rather than a melee carry or offlaner, I can see that this Q is also going to make a huge difference. So I'm very excited to see how this plays out, and I'm very excited to hear what your thoughts are about her new Q versus her old Q and which you'd prefer. Her E is her standard go up in the air and then land on a target location, which is great. Chastise is she claps her wings. Again, that's pretty normal. And then we already talked about her ultimate coming out as well. Her skin that she'll be coming out with is this Morning Star Sereth. I think it's all right. I'm not going to buy it. I don't think it's good enough to be worth that. But they did announce that the new UI is coming, as well as hero acquisition. So if you guys don't know, they talked about this on the Predcast several months ago, but hero acquisition will come with this patch. And what it will do is that you can basically put XP toward unlocking a hero going forward. With Sereth, they're going to unlock her for free and as a free rotation for a little while. allowing everybody to access her with hero acquisition. But for future heroes, they're going to put the hero acquisition hero acquisition contract up a little bit early, so you can earn the hero before they come out, and then when they come out, you'll have them already, or you can continue working on their contract and make sure that you have them unlocked. Should be interesting. I'll be curious to see what it does. Then they also made a slew of balance changes. But overall, guys, what are your thoughts on all the updates for all 3 games? I tried to keep this pretty short. It's about 20 minutes. And I would love to hear from you guys. I'm excited for FTM to come back live this upcoming Sunday. If you would like to join me on FTM, I know I've had a couple people reach out that I'm going to reach out to for this weekend, but I would always love to have more hosts on the show with me. So let me know, reach out to me. All the links are in the description, and I'll see you guys again real soon.